Hello everyone, my name is Robin Valentine. I am the Tired Witch and welcome to my channel. If you are brand new here, welcome to Tarotscopes. Tarotscopes are a combination of monthly horoscopes meets tarot. If you are brand new here and you've never seen them before, I've been doing them for a while on my blog, and you are welcome to go follow the link in my description to my blog to read this if you would prefer that content. But yeah, we're gonna cover just a little monthly forecast check-in for you based off of your zodiac sun sign. Now this month we are using the Modern Witch Tarot by Lisa Sturl. Love this deck. It's another Liminal 11 deck, just like I used last month. I'm gonna not apologize for that because they make great decks, so oh well. And if you'd like to get it, it is going to be linked in the description. So let's get started, shall we? Okay, so this month we're going to be starting off strong with Aries. And for Aries, we're looking at March 21st, through April 19th. And for you, Aries, we are seeing the Lovers. Now, I hate to say it, but the Lovers is not a card that I particularly enjoy. Oftentimes, when we see the Lovers, people assume things like karmic connections, soul connections, and real happiness. And while there is duality and balance in this card, oftentimes I'm seeing a very, very difficult decision that needs to be made before we get to that happiness that we might find with soul connections. I think it's a really nice card to see if you are willing to look at it, that you have to go through a painful choice before you get to the happy conclusion. It's not going to be fun. It's probably going to be quite difficult and something that you'll have to pause to think about before making that decision. But if you are able to do it in moving forward, it does bring us to quite a happy place. So I know it's kind of a crapshoot, and I'm not trying to put a positive twist on a negative situation, but what I am saying is that difficult choices often lead us to really positive paths. So there is good in the bad. Okay, so up next is going to be Taurus, and Taurus has got April 20th through May 20th. And for you, Taurus, we see the Three of Cups. Now, the Three of Cups is a double-edged sword. It's really positive because you see this kind of friendship circle coming together. They're rejoicing and they're celebrating, and that's all very fun. But there is a bit of a devious side to this card. As you see, there is the figure in the front with her back turned to us. And essentially what it tells us is that although you might find yourself in a really fun position where we're getting to hang out with and rejoice with friends, don't trust everyone. There is still stuff going on that can't be seen. So relish in the time that you have with your friends, enjoy it. But maybe don't be overly, what's the word I'm looking for? Overly welcoming, overly trusting of people that you don't really know that much about. Party with them, but the people we party with aren't always the people that we want to tell our secrets to. So enjoy it with caution. All right, so next up is Gemini, and Gemini is May 21st through June 21st. And for you Geminis, we've got the Eight of Pentacles. Now, the Eight of Pentacles, I like seeing. It is an apprenticeship card, and essentially tells us that you are on a really good path working towards your big goals and that you're headed in the right direction. Apprentices might be early in their career path, if you will, but they have got the foundations that they're working on and they are going in the right direction, if you will. The thing with this card is it is a little bit of a humble pie card. It essentially tells us that while you are working towards your goals and you're on a really, really good path, the problem is that you are early on. So you don't know everything, and it is okay to ask for help, ask for feedback, etc. Don't be a know-it-all, Gemini. It's okay to ask for help. All right, now after Gemini comes Cancers, which is my sign, which is June 22nd through July 22nd, I believe. And Cancers, we are going to have the Four of Swords. Take a break. The Four of Swords tells us that there's been a lot going on in your life as of recently, and you're probably quite exhausted, which is, for me at least, quite accurate. I know I am. This card tells us it's okay to take time and make space for ourselves to slow down and relax. The Four of Swords tells us that this month, the work you need to be doing includes knowing when to set up boundaries for yourself and to take a break. Taking a break and taking care of our bodies, our mental health, having a glass of water and chilling out. It's important, and that is a part of the work, right? Think about your job, a 40-day week in working Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. You're not going to show up to your job and be successful unless you go to bed at an appropriate time, you drink water, you eat your vegetables, and you have breaks, right? This applies to the rest of your life too. So rest. Rest is important. All right, so after Cancer comes Leo, which is July 23rd through August 22nd. And for you, Leos, oof, we're seeing the Nine of Swords. This is a rough one. I'm not going to be honest, or I'm not going to be honest. I am going to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie. The Nine of Swords is difficult. It is one of nightmares, trauma, triggers, PTSD. Now, I don't want to sit and fearmonger you and tell you that this month is going to be one of the worst months of your life or anything like that. But what I am saying is that if you get in a situation that triggers a response out of you that is negative and perhaps reminds you of your worst nightmares, something like that, even having a hard time, it's okay to acknowledge that feeling that you're having and make a boundary and step back from it. This is a difficult card to see because, in my opinion, the nightmare kind of situation comes up and we might not be willing or ready to recognize, discuss, and create boundaries with that. It's okay to say, hey, I can't be in this situation because it really elicits a negative reaction out of me. Boundaries are important. So know when to create them, set them up, and walk away and acknowledge your very real feelings. All right, up next is Virgos. And Virgos are August 23rd through September 22nd. All right, and for you, Virgos, we have the Ace of Swords. Now, all aces are potential cards, and swords are action. They're fast moving. The Suit of Swords, in my opinion, can be quite a painful one, but the Ace of Swords essentially tells us that we are on the right path. We have the potential to start making some really serious decisions when it comes to our mental well-being and the kind of clarity and insight that comes with that. Like any potential, you have to push the ball to see it rolling. Just because it's sat there doesn't mean it's going to go on its own. That being said, when it comes to our mental clarity and kind of making decisions for ourselves, I would view this month as a really good potential for you to start focusing on things like your mental health and well-being. Of course, it's up to you to take advantage of that potential. But if you're willing to make space for it, I feel like you can start seeing some really serious progress in your own well-being this month. So happy to see it. Up next is Libras. And Libras are September 23rd through October 23rd. Going backwards in months. All right, let's see here. And for you, Libras, we have the Five of Swords. You know, I'm noticing a pattern here with a lot of these cards, which is boundaries. The Five of Swords is all about knowing when to walk away from situations that are no longer serving us. So, although it might be difficult, it would be really pertinent for you to know when to say, hey, I'm going to pick and choose my battles, and perhaps this battle is just not for me. It might be because it's not worth winning, or the self-awareness that you're not going to win and you'll just be wasting your energy on arguing. Either way, starting to recognize patterns within ourselves this month on situations that will be best for us to walk away from is incredibly important. So push forward and do so with your chin up high. That you are going to be making the right decisions for yourself. And just because you don't want to argue and battle doesn't make you weak. It doesn't mean that you are giving up. It just means that you are wise enough to know when situations are not serving us. All right, so next we have Scorpios. And so Scorpios are November 24th through December 21st. No, they're not. No, they're not. Scorpios are October 24th through November 21st. Hello. Sorry, Scorpios. Oh my goodness. All right, for you Scorpios, we have the Page of Wands. Now, pages I really like to see because they are so youthful and fun, and they bring a lot to the table for their suit. The Page of Wands is all about kind of making some sort of fast decisions, creativity, and projecting yourself forward. The Wand suit, very similar to the Ace suit, is an action suit. So when we see the Page of Wands, it basically tells us that you are at a fun and playful stage of a creative process for you. In the month of March, know that you are working towards some really fun and great creative goals for yourself, and give yourself that kind of space to not do it perfectly, but to have fun doing it, if that makes sense. It's very much so, in my opinion, like the Eight of Pentacles, all the pages are, apprenticeship early on, and kind of putting yourself in that position where you're able to project yourself forward while recognizing that you're still learning. So look at your creative inspirations and outlets and go have fun with it. Remember that not all hobbies and passions need to be something that you are ever going to be good at as long as you're enjoying it. So go out there and have fun. Have fun. Have fun, Scorpios. Okay, so up next is Sagittarius, which I'm going to get right this time. And Sagittariuses are November 22nd through December 21st. And for you, Sagittarius, we have the Wheel of Fortune. Now, the Wheel of Fortune is a card that I love seeing. It is metaphorically as though your life is a book, and the Wheel of Fortune signifies that the next chapter is about to begin. It tells us that big moments in your life that sort of mark the end when a new one gets to start is coming forward, which is really exciting. Relish in this moment. Don't be too afraid of the next chapter starting. The wheel of life, if you will, is always turning. And in your case, you've got a new chapter starting, and new chapters mean full potential and exciting things for yourself as long as you're willing to embrace it. So you can mourn, I guess, the loss of one chapter closing, but look forward to the new chapter in a happy way. This isn't the aggressive and abrasive new chapter that we might see with death. It's much more gracious and exciting and far less painful. So embrace it, enjoy yourself, and be proud of whatever thing that you recently accomplished that allows you this position to move forward. Okay, so up next is Capricorn. And for Capricorns, we're looking at December 22nd through January 19th. Okay, and for you Capricorns, we have the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands is complicated. I'm going to be just transparent with you. The Nine of Wands tells us that we are in a position that is incredibly guarded. We might be throwing our walls up, metaphorically, to kind of protect ourselves from the situation at present or the people around us. But just like the photo, the walls that are around us are made of sticks. So it tells us that although we might be in a situation that we are just guard up, it will be pretty easy for people to kind of push those walls down and get inside. The the reasons that you might find yourself putting those walls up are very valid and maybe a conversation to be having with yourself, but be realistic, if you will, for yourself on how you feel, if you will, about the walls coming down when they do come down. You didn't put up very strong walls, probably for a reason, because it's a reactionary response and not something that you really feel needs a strong boundary. But be gracious with yourself as you go through that process. All right, so up next is Aquarius. And Aquarius is January 20th through February 18th. And for you, Aquarius, we have the Page of Cups reversed. Now, as I was referring to earlier in this video about pages, pages are very similar to apprenticeship cards. They are fun, they are learning, and there's a real acknowledgement there that we haven't quite got it all under control, if you will. The Page of Cups is obviously specifically about emotions, but when we see it in reverse, the kind of fun love that the Page of Cups is upright, the kind of puppy love, becomes a little bit manipulative and toxic. In my opinion, you might find yourself in a position where either you or somebody else is going to be quite emotionally immature with your feelings. They might play little games that you might see in a schoolyard, and the fun little puppy love feeling of its upright self turns a little bit more into middle school bullies that are taking emotions out on one another. If it is you, or if it is somebody else who is doing this to you in the situation, take a real moment to step back, reflect on those actions, and decide whether or not you want those people in your life. Gaslighting is never cool. Manipulating our partners emotionally is never cool. So sometimes people come into our lives that aren't really meant to stay there. Do you know what I mean? And that's okay. That's not a failure on your part. That is simply just a situation that you weren't meant to stick with. That's okay. But bye-bye, gaslighters. All right, so last but not least, we have Pisces. And for you, Pisces, we are looking at February 19th through March 20th. Oof, we have a lot of swords this time around. So Ten of Swords is awful. I hate seeing it. It is one of being stabbed in the back. It is feeling bamboozled and like the wool has been pulled over your eyes. It's awful. This is a really painful card. I'm just going to be transparent with you, Pisces. It does tell us that there's going to be some situations in your life this month that aren't going to go the way necessarily you would like them to, and it stinks. It's painful, it's heartbreaking, and it is not fun. That being said, just because we are in a situation that is frankly very painful and toxic does not mean that we cannot pull ourselves out of this hole in time. The Ten of Swords speaks very heavily of needing to take space, time, and realism to heal from this sort of traumatic situation that you found yourself in. It is very okay to step back and say, I am not okay, and I need to take time for that and make room and space for that in my life. So I'm sorry to see it, Pisces, but you can get better from this. It is unfortunately going to be just kind of maybe not a very fun month. So I'll keep you in my thoughts. Now, that being said, I really appreciate you all being here to do Tarotscopes with me. Let me know in the comments what deck you think that I should use next month for my reading. If you follow me on social media, you probably have seen a lot of my decks, or heck, suggest one that you have no idea if I have it or not. Maybe it's one I need to get. So until next time, bye!